The other day, it's actually 2 days, 2 days ago, we went over this a little bit, and I actually didn't like how we went over it. So we're gonna go over it again in a more comprehensive guide. Hopefully it'll be short and sweet. But if you go into the recruit and deploy, and you look at the divisions that I've got lined up here, you will see all of these divisions.
Yeah, 30, 21.
Now, before we go over this, I do want to go over that division width that I showed you. So I'm going to switch that window. There we go. So, you're watching it, right?
I just taking a quick skim through. I'm watching now.
So this is something that I just found just searching up Hoi4 combat width. It's like the first Reddit thing where, you know, people have done their research and everything. And this is a graph of the tiles, marsh and mountain. Excuse me, forest and jungle, plains and hills, urban.
Okay, what's the damage mean though? Like, what's the not damage, but what's the numbers in the colors?
Okay, so the numbers, as you can see, red is bad. 5 widths, they're bad for marsh and mountains. They're bad for forest and jungles. They're bad for
across
urban
the board.
deserts and plains. They're
So
bad across the board, yes. It's measuring effectiveness.
Okay, so 0 is perfectly effective.
0 is perfectly effective, yes. 22 is highly ineffective, yes. This isn't measuring any sort of like production cost or equipment type. It's just measuring
how effective it is going into a tile for taking a tile.
Yes. 15 is a good width, as you can see, because it's either blue or
if you
green.
attack from 2 directions on any tile, it's going to be perfectly efficient.
Yes. 14 is somewhat better, as you can see. Except for in urban. But that's really, really nitpicking there. Generally, though, and we'll go back over to Hearts of Iron here, you don't want a division width of 15 or lower, because that means that you're going to be hemorrhaging equipment. Because damage is not, it's percentage based. It's not, oh, you deal this amount of damage and you lose this much equipment. It's, you do this amount of damage and you deal this percentage of equipment, or you lose this.
Yeah, it costs you equipment to deal damage on a percentage basis.
Yes. So
the more reliable your troop is, the less equipment they're going to lose.
The more HP your division has, the less equipment they're going to lose.
Okay.
So this line division is only something that you would want if you're running very fucking low on manpower. Like, this is something that you would use as Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, just to name a few countries that have manpower shortages. You could use this for any country that has manpower shortages. So, and the only reason why this is so effective is because of the artillery. It gets 155 soft attack. So, once again, repeating. So, if you look at Line Division 2 and then you go to Line Division 4, you'll see that the only difference between the two is the width and the 1 artillery. Lots of YouTubers...
Line Division 4 and...
Line Division 2.
Line Division 2, okay.
If you look between those two... Bless you.
Yep.
You'll see that the only difference is that the artillery battalion in Line Division 4 adds some extra soft attack for...
Yeah, 40.
For...
40, but it keeps the combat width, it brings the combat width up to 21.
It's actually 36 artillery. That's triple the amount of artillery that the support artillery gives.
Yeah.
but it gives you what the support artillery gives plus 20. So that's a less than double increase for 3 times the amount of artillery. Support artillery is a hell of a lot better at concentrating.
Yeah, support equipment with larger infantry divisions.
I'm sorry, what do you mean by that?
You have more infantry divisions with support equipment.
Yes,
and
you
you'll
can
get
produce
better,
a
and you'll
lot
get
more.
more efficient equipment per stats.
Yes, it's called concentration of force. If you want to
Yeah,
know,
you also get better org too.
yeah, if you want to know more about that, uh, go to Counterfactual Gaming's channel. He has a bunch of videos about concentration of force and how to min max that and get the best out of all worlds. Now, the line artillery 3, it should be line division. I don't know, division. Let me rename that. The line division 3 is basically the same thing as line division 1. It has 2 small HP, but it does have a lot of soft attack. The difference is you're going to be hemorrhaging a lot more artillery than Line Division 1 when using Line Division 3. Line Division 3 is what I used back when the Combat Width update was still fresh.
Well, yeah, because it has almost double the amount of artillery.
Yeah, but also it was one short of the old 7.2, the old 20 width combat.
Old 20 combat width.
I just got rid of one, but the HP is still very low. You're gonna be hemorrhaging more equipment percentage wise. Now this shock division is something that I've talked about twice already, but in this one video because the call keeps fucking dropping. But
you mean just with the sheer force of artillery divisions?
This division is meant to be
break a line so you can actually move forward.
Yes, that's its purpose. But in terms of design, this division is basically saying, okay, the bar has been so low previously because we need to trade effectiveness for amount of units. This division trades the opposite way. And depending on your economy, you can have a few different versions of this. And let me reorient all of the different versions of this. Where's the mechanized division? Ah, there's the mechanized division. So, all 4 actually of these divisions are different units that you can use. And let me make it even more seeable for you. All of these divisions they're all shock divisions, but the difference being the country that you're playing. If you're playing a country like Germany, then you may want to automatically go for something like the motorized division for the invasion of France, Poland, and all of that. And later, once you get mechanized infantry, you may want to use the light tanks that you should have been using for France, Poland, etc., and convert them to light SP artillery, which will get you a pretty good speed of 9.6, not as good as the old motorized division, but in trade-off, you get a hell of a lot more soft attack.
So you're saying from switching from the motorized division to the mechanized division?
Yes, let me see if I can switch that.
That is so much soft attack.
Yes, it's a lot of soft attack.
And that is an expensive battalion.
Yes, it is very expensive, but Germany is a country that would be able to use it. I'll rename this SP already shock division is something else that you could use. Obviously, infantry and cavalry units are pretty much interchangeable. So you could use light SP artillery with 6.4 kilometer an hour speed with cavalry units. That would reduce the cost of your light SP artillery. And you might be able to use this with a nation like Romania or Austria-Hungary, maybe even Poland if if you play your cards right with Poland.
And we're looking at the SP Arty Shock Division.
Yes, this is the SP Arty Shock Division.
Yeah, which uses cavalry, so you don't have to make all the trucks.
Yes, it uses cavalry, so you don't have to make all the trucks, and that's still a very good division. It has a little bit less soft attack, but it's basically
an
the same
inconsequential
soft
amount
attack.
loses a negligible amount of soft attack. What it really loses is speed and armor.
Yeah, it loses speed, armor, and hardness.
Yeah.
So those are actually good things to keep in mind. Thank you for noticing that. Now, you could upgrade this to...
Where do you see hardness in the table? Oh, well, no, hard attack, air attack, and soft attack.
It's in between adjusters, the terrain bonuses, and the base stats.
Hardness, yeah, 15%. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's the hardness meter. Now, you could, depending on what you want, increase the combat width to 36. You would be doing a lot more damage, you would have a lot more HP, and you would actually hemorrhage a lot less SP artillery because of the HP when you go into battle. Just in general. It doesn't matter if you're losing or if you're winning. So 36 width, perfectly fine for any of these divisions. Personally, I don't focus on these as much. In fact, I usually have a 27 width when it comes to all those motorized divisions. And I probably do a 27 width for the SP artillery shock divisions as well. Simply because I want to focus my efforts on tanks. I want to focus my industrial efforts on tank divisions, but we're not there yet. Moving on to the special forces. So here we have the Mountaineer Division, which is a 25 combat width. Obviously, if you go over to that table, and actually, I'll put the table in the description.
Yeah, and we're looking at the Mountaineer Division, right?
Yes, we're looking at the Mountaineer Division. I'll put the table in the description so that I don't have to keep transferring between my OBS filters here, because I did actually lose track of that earlier, which wasn't good. Anyway, looking at the width for this, Mountaineers are basically, they're fighting in mountains. So they're going to be...
Yeah, well, look at their terrain bonuses.
Yeah. They're going to be it's actually a pretty good width overall. Wow. Except for marsh... Why do they... When attacking from 2 tiles, they're in the orange in marsh and mountains, which are the territories that they're meant for. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, wait. Oh, no, I was looking at the 24 width. Sorry. 25 width, absolutely perfect for marshes and mountains. For plains, or not plains, forest and jungles, the next one over. Pretty good across the board. Pretty good across the board for plains, deserts, and hills. And then urban, I believe it struggles. Does it? It struggles when attacking from a single tile, but otherwise it's perfectly adequate. So this is something that I regularly use. This Mountaineer Division is something that I regularly use as a replacement for the Shock Division that you saw earlier. The basic infantry Shock Division that you saw earlier. This is what I use as a replacement. The Marine Division, that's pretty obvious, and you would actually want to increase the damage that you would do by making it a 36 width, because you really want that heavy attack when you're trying to take a port.
Is heavy attack better going through forts?
You mean hard attack?
Yeah.
Um,
Well, you said heavy attack, so I just said heavy attack.
well, when I said heavy attack, I meant a heavy amount of attack.
Yeah, so a lot of
a lot of specifically soft attack. Hard attack is specifically for going up against armored vehicles. Forts and stuff, well, that's a bonus in the adjusters section. That's a terrain bonus. And you can get those by, well, if you have engineer company, then you should get a bonus to... Huh. It's not there. Interesting. But that one missing terrain. Oh no, there it is. Forts. This Marine division has a plus 17 to attack against forts and a plus 20 to defense when inside a fort. I'm blind. And overall, actually, this division has very good attack bonuses to all sorts of terrain types, except for jungle. But you could just change that with the Special Forces Marines branch. By instead of going for shore parties, go for jungle specialists, which is something that Japan should want to do. So I'll. Well, okay. So this is the stats for this division right now with the bonuses that I'll just call these standard bonuses. Really, it's about half of the nations. So you're gonna want the jungle specialists for fighting in areas like Dutch East Indies, British Malaya, areas like the Belgian Congo in Africa, so Italy will want to do it. The United States' main front is going to be the Pacific, so they're going to want to do it. The British can go either way. It really depends on what they want to focus on more. Then again, they can also just switch between the two, so it really doesn't matter for them. Germany, France, the Soviet Union, it's just obvious. They'll go for... Okay, good. I hadn't heard you speak for a while, so I thought...
No, we're still here.
Again. Yeah, for all three of those nations, you're definitely just going to want to go for shore parties. And then, of course, the expeditionary...
Yeah, so match your specialty divisions to their terrain types.
Yes. Another example of that is going to be mountaineers. If you look at the mountaineers here, we've got just mountain bonuses, artillery bonuses. That's all we got here. Something else to note, though, for mountaineers, the last bonus that you get, the shared instructors, Special Forces attack, plus 10%, that applies to all Special Forces, period.
That's nice.
So that's, no matter what, is definitely something that you want to be going for. All of them. That's why...
yeah, sorry, what is it that gives the 10% bonus?
Shared instructors. At the
Yeah,
very end of the
and what
tree.
is that bonus? Is that like a general or what?
That applies to all Special Forces.
Yeah, but where do you get special instructors? Is it research or?
It's the Special Forces Doctrine.
Ah.
You go to Officer Corps.
Yeah. No, I know where it is. I just wanted to make sure I knew what it was, if it was a research or something like that.
All right, cool. And you get the same thing over on Blowtorch and Corkscrew in the Marines. It's the left side or right side, sorry. And it's the second from the bottom. You get Special Forces attack plus 10% across the board. And there's the same thing that you get in the paratroopers. It's on the same side, the right side, at the very bottom, special forces attack plus 10%.
Yeah.
With that said, if you're playing a country like Germany, who really doesn't necessarily care about the winter, unless, of course, you know, you're having
Russia.
to fight. Yeah. I like how you summed it up in one word. If you're fighting in Russia, then of course you're going to want to go cold weather specialists for the snow movement, attack, and defense. You're not going to want to go hold the line though. And that's really the only thing that you would change up about that mountaineer tree. Places like Finland, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Russia, Sweden, Norway, all those far north nations would just want to flat out go for the snow bonuses. And they'd want to stay there. Russia, it's really iffy if they would want to stay there because they would have to start pushing down into less snowy for most of the year regions, into mountainous tiles like Transylvania, Czechoslovakia. They might have to push through the Alps, even into the Yugoslavian mountain ranges, maybe Bulgaria, Turkey. It really depends on, there are a lot of mountains that they could be fighting in, and it really depends on the player and what they want to do. Generally, I would say if you're on the defensive, then snow bonuses. If you're on the offensive, then mountain bonuses. Anyway, back to the division templates. Back to the Marine division template. Of course, you're going to want to do the jungle bonuses, and that's pretty much about it for this template. For all of these, something to take note of, you're either going to want to use Rangers or Cavalry Recon. All the ones that we've mentioned thus far, save for the motorized divisions, you're going to want to use Rangers or Cavalry Recon, preferably Rangers if you have them, because those give a percentage bonus of 10% or 20% for Cavalry Recon and Rangers respectively. So that's something to take note of. Now, the decoy paratroopers, well, they're pretty self-explanatory. They're there just to annoy the enemy.
Just to pull divisions off.
Yes, pull divisions off. Fuck up with.
Wow, that is purely for taking a tile and.
Yeah, it's not for holding a tile. It's not for doing anything aside from being an annoyance. You can.
You're just literally dropping in terror groups, except you can see them on the map.
You can use this division to some cheeky effect. Like, if you're trying to cap Czechoslovakia, you can...
yeah, my first thought was drop it on capitals, take the early victory points, going to try and force an early capitulation.
You can drop it on
or you can drop it on their
you can
supply
drop
hubs.
it on especially France. Yeah, fucking up their supply. Moving on to the paratrooper division. Looking at this division, you will see that it can't actually paradrop. That's because of the Armored Recon Company. If you're using this type of division, you're going to want the airborne armor from the paratroopers tab portion, rather, of the Special Forces Doctrine. So what I've got here is just a placeholder. You will be able to drop this.
I'm looking at the division designer. It says, if you take the in the focus tree, or the what do you call it?
Special Forces Doctrine.
Yeah, then you can drop it in with the Armored Recon Company.
Yeah, you can get a airborne light armor company that basically acts the same way. In most respects, we don't have it here, so it's kind of difficult to see it in use. Let me actually send you a photo of the actual division, so that you can look at that.
I mean, is it not just this division, except it's using the pair-dropping light tanks?
Yeah, but you may want, but you won't be able to see the stats of the support company. Never mind. Yeah, I have a video about this, about the Special Forces. So I actually shouldn't take too long talking about the Special Forces. But this is the division. This division is meant to take and hold a tile. So say you're playing Manchukuo and you want to do the Burma Road early. This is something that you or me would want to use to actively paradrop from, say, Hainan, which is the little penis of the Guangxi clique, the little deformed penis, from Hainan, that airfield, to Kunming. Because once Kunming is taken, that's the only victory point in the province of Yunnan, and it's worth a lot. It's worth 10. So once you take Kunming, you own the province of Yunnan.
Yeah.
This is the type of division that you would want to use to take Kunming.
Yeah, because then you can take it and hold it.
Yes, exactly. Now, of course, you would first want to naval invade from Taiwan, in which case you would use the Marine division that I showed you.
And then you just get an airfield that's close enough, and then you drop on Kunming.
Yes, exactly. The closest airfield is Hainan. Anyway, moving on to the light amphibious tank division. You want to use light tanks in the amphibious tank divisions mainly because the average stats that they have, like averaged out, all of their stats, they're better. They're better for the production cost.
The light tanks, then the
yes.
Amtraks?
No, as opposed to medium tanks. Medium tanks, you're gonna get a shit ton of light attack. Soft attack. But you're gonna get less stats in terms of, say, maybe breakthrough, defense. You're gonna have less heart attack, piercing, all those things. And let me actually show off all of the tank division or tank templates that we've been using here. The Honi 3 is the tank destroyer that we'll be looking at a little bit later. The Ho Ro is a medium artillery unit that you can use for any of those shock divisions. But you're more likely to be using the Kusei, because that's going to be, you're going to have more light tanks at the beginning of the game that you can convert than medium tanks. You're going to want to, build your medium tank divisions up. And then you're going to, want to phase the light tanks out and convert those into light SP artillery divisions. The amphibious light tank, if you look at that, this is it. If we look at both the templates, you will see that it has a max speed of 7 km. I actually fucked up with the Amtraks, so let me convert those into what they should be. There we go. And we see here that we have a massive amount of soft attack. I believe it's even more than the Marine division. Yes, it is. And you're getting more bang for your buck across all fields, not just soft attack, when using the light amphibious. You can use mediums if you want. It will increase your hardness, it'll increase your soft attack, but in order to use those mediums, you're going to have to use something like the Chi Nu. We'll call this the Chi Nu -1. Because well, you're going to want to upgrade your armor, but it's not going to have a lot of heart attack. It's not going to have a lot of piercing. And the only regions that it really excels in are soft attack and armor, because it can get armor a lot more cheaply because it starts out with a lot more armor than the light tank in the first place. The support companies, pioneers, it's really just stock standard here. Something to note though about the paratroopers, you want to have support rocket artillery to add a lot more soft attack to your division, because you only have what is basically infantry powering your division. And while it does have a lot of HP, meaning it'll last a lot longer than it probably should, you're going to need that soft attack in order to, go up against an encirclement, which these things are. If you're a paratrooper and you're not encircled, you're not doing your job. You get it?
Well, I mean, it depends how fast the Blitzkrieg can get to you.
Anyway, moving on to the tank divisions. We've got the light tank division, and we've got the medium tank division. Now, I've taken these and put motorized or mechanized in them. Generally, with you're going to be having motorized in these instead of mechanized. Later in the game, though, you will have mechanized, and I just put the mechanized in there for shits and giggles, I suppose. Because the light tank division, you're not really going to be using all that much. You're going to be using that until 1940.
The light tank division?
Yeah, the light tank division. And let me actually change light tank division. There we go. So for countries like Japan, I don't know why you would go for China with tanks, but China, for
I mean,
nations
China
like
gets
that,
the factories.
huh?
China gets the factories.
Yeah, but they have to spend most of their industry on just maintaining the guns and the artillery and the divisions needed to fuck over the Japanese. And it's made especially hard.
I was thinking of as Manchukuo. Muko in our game.
Well, Manchukuo doesn't get the industry. Right now is the time where we should be going for the medium tank division, but of course, neither of us have the production capacity to do so just yet. Now let's talk about the tanks in this division for a second. So the tanks in this division, you will see the Kenny. This is it. This is the Kenny division, or the Kenny.
All I can see right now is the light, medium, and buff.
Go to the production and the armor vehicles.
The advanced light tank or
The Kenny.
Oh, Kenny, yeah, I see it. That's a lot of people.
Yes. I generally just add fuel to my divisions because there are a ton of areas that you will be fighting in, like China, Russia, and China for Japan, Russia for Germany, and Africa for Italy. Tons of low supply regions. You're going to need
close support is artillery, right? Close support gun. The Kenny has a close support gun as its main armament.
Oh, that. That's its main armament. What do you mean? It can be used as artillery, if that's what you're asking. But
yeah, because I'm looking at the tag. That's a allows the artillery roll. There it is. So it can be used either as a light tank or a self-propelled light tank artillery.
Yeah, all you need to do is change the tag, but it's not
Yeah,
going
it's
to
just
be a
a
very
division
effective
template.
artillery division. It's not going to be a very effective artillery division because you can get that easier by doing something like the Kusei. If you look at that template,
Why not just use an improved automatic cannon? Is it just the priority for the soft attack?
the improved automatic. Oh, you mean that
20 to 25 soft attack in the close support gun's favor, and then 7 hard attack, and 5 and 5 hard attack in the automatic cannon's favor, and then 35 pierce instead of 10, and they both have them. And the tank moves slightly faster, but they both receive a minus 10 to reliability.
Well, you're only getting 5 attack more, but you're going to be getting the close support gun earlier than the improved automatic cannon, and you get more attack. You get more attack. It's not necessarily more bang for your buck. You're just going to get more attack. And the entire thing about this is the soft attack. Your tanks are amazing at concentrating force in a specific area. That's what these are for. So, really, the entire thing is
fitting as much power into as low combat width as possible.
It doesn't necessarily have to do with combat width, but
is that not what concentration of force is? Minimizing combat width while maximizing firepower?
Maximizing firepower in a certain area. So yes, that is part of it, but it's not the only thing. When you're using tanks, you're concentrating your force in a certain area, just like with any sort of shock division or any sort of special forces division. You're concentrating your attack in a certain area in order to break the line, get encirclements, all that sort of stuff. Tanks are especially good at breaking the line and getting encirclements.
Oh yeah, that's like their entire purpose.
Yeah, I mean, look at the soft attack that they have. You don't get that much soft attack with the standard motorized division. You get that much soft attack once you include tanks, say in the mechanized division down there, but you don't get that much soft attack with those divisions, especially when you consider moving up to the medium tank division. That thing has 5,500 soft attack. Now back to the tanks. The whole point of these, the whole point of this Kimi is to be somewhat cheap. Like I said, this is the all-out. You're basically only trying to get above the armor that you need in order to not be pierced by the AI. In multiplayer, whole different story, and we'll talk about that at the top tank division. But this has fuel, it has lots of soft attack, it has enough speed to keep up with the motorized and the mechanized. Well, really just mechanized, but not because the motorized is 12 kilometers an hour. And because of the wheeled suspension, I was able to bring the cost down to 12. With these things, you generally want to keep it around like 10. And that is most of your division. It's the same thing with the medium tank. Now, where the last bit of your armor is going to come from, your hard attack, your piercing, all that sort of stuff, where that is going to come from is the tank destroyers, like this Ho-Ru. As you can see, it's got the light fixed superstructure, it's got a improved medium cannon for lots of hard attack, lots of piercing, all that stuff. It does what it can to get its soft attack up. It's improved its engine, and it's improved its armor to around 100 armor.
I mean, you can run it to 101.
Yeah, it's 101, 100 armor, whatever.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's 100.8.
Yeah, it's 100.8. It's around 100 armor. But when I say that, I'm saying you want it around 100 armor for, like, no matter what you're using. And this is the tank template that you should be working your way up towards from 1939 to 1940. After that, as I said earlier, you want to be phasing out your light tanks and putting them into medium tanks. Now, as I said before, the medium tank division has a shit ton of soft attack. What is it? About 100 more than 100 more than the light tank division that you just saw there. And what this is it is the Chinu-1, which is basically the same thing. It's actually even cheaper than the Kenni, and it has a hell of a lot more soft attacks simply because of its armament.
Yeah, how can you assign specific types of tanks to specific divisions? Like if you're
Okay,
making multiple type of light tanks.
so a situation that you would want to do that in. First of all,
But
let's
I'm
discuss the
asking,
situation.
how do you, not when do you, how do
Well,
you
okay.
assign a specific tank model
You see
to a
the
division?
medium tank division? Right beside that is equipment. You just uncheck those. And that's how you do it. That's how you would prevent...
What you're allowed to use, great. Yeah,
Yes.
never even looked at that before.
Yeah, that's how you would prevent your multiplayer tanks from getting involved in your single player tanks.
Wait, can you save plans for tanks and then just load them? Like tank designs?
Um
Or do you have to remake them every save?
you have to... There are presets that you can use. So if you go over to the Kimi, there are presets, but no, you cannot save a specific design, which sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, at best, the thing that you can do is find a preset that you like and just use that, but none of the presets are they're not good. Anyway.
Yeah, because they haven't been customized at all.
That's the Chinu. 3 fuel drums, lots of fuel, lots of soft attack, speed 8 km, and actually that should probably be increased because it's going into a mechanized division, which you will have by 1940. So it's actually, when you consider that, it's actually not as good as, or as cheap. It's actually not cheaper than the King. It's a little bit more expensive, but you get a hell of a lot more out of it. Then you have the medium tank destroyer, which is, same thing as the light tank destroyer. Get as much soft attack as you can while keeping a reasonable amount of reliability. Get up to 100 armor and get to a speed that you like for the divisions that you're using.
Yeah.
And what this does is the medium tank destroyer obviously provides the piercing, the hard attack, but it also provides about another... It provides like 20 armor. I really underestimated that, but I thought it was going to be more like around 10, but it's actually more around 25 more armor to the division. And this is enough. Once again, Counterfactual talks about this. This is enough to get by for the AI. The AI spends a lot of its time not producing anti-tank, and when it does produce anti-tank, it produces a lot of tier 1 anti-tank, and it doesn't really produce a lot of any of the other anti-tank models. If you do encounter a game where the AI is using a lot of high tier anti-tank models, then you would be in trouble with this division, but they're not going to have a lot of it, and you can simply relocate your division. Your tank divisions. Just push from somewhere else.
We're just talking about like how. So we're still looking at the medium tank division, right?
Yes.
And then the buff tank division just uses the buff medium tank division just uses better medium tanks that are more expensive.
Yes, that uses the Chun-Li that's 19 production cost. This thing has, well, it should have a lot more armor than that actually, but it actually can't support that much armor because the reliability will suck. You can go from improved to advanced, which will help a whole bunch with that. But this tank is basically for multiplayer purposes. Um, it's meant to punch through the front line in areas where they have that anti-tank. Which is, if it's a player, basically going to be everywhere because they're going to be smart about their industry and, you know, the way they produce divisions, unlike the AI. Unfortunately, though, a player will come up with a counter to this. They can just produce an anti-tank division with a shit ton of
Pierce or heart attack?
piercing and heart attack. Yes, thank you. And that's just gonna be the end of this tank. At that point, you can escalate it and go for heavy tanks to get even more armor, but they can escalate that even more with, you know, super heavy tanks and just heavy tank anti-tank. It's really ridiculous the way armor stacking compares with piercing in this game. There is, yeah. But that's basically everything. Thank you for providing feedback and questions along the way. That was pretty much the entire point of this.
Yeah, of course.
I'm probably gonna have to cut a good 30 minutes out of this, so it's gonna be an hour. But that's the end of the recording. Everyone, have a nice day. This is definitely going to be its own video.